Because isn't that what those are things they use for life insurance, right?
Yeah, but these guys, these airlines have learned how to do that.
Wow.
And then at the end, it has the liability thing as well. But if they can't get the liability thing, because the person at that point, maybe they do it in a two-step, and they first get you to say that your husband or your wife was very ill.
Yeah.
Well, one of the people involved was a New York judge whose girlfriend had died. And he also got involved. I threw TWA out. I threw them out. They said, you can't throw me out. I said, well, first of all, this isn't your Kennedy Airport belongs to the city and the state. First of all, it's on New York property, and it's leased by the state of New York. So New York property means I'm in charge. You're thrown out, all of you, all 200 of you. And your forms are being ripped. And I'm taking your forms that have been signed and I'm ripping them up. The CEO of TWA was gone 2 months later, and TWA was gone 6 months later.
Don't you think that it's a conflict of interest to have the company that potentially caused the injury be in charge of the?
Of course, and I was. This was 1996, and I had, by that time, been a federal prosecutor, the third ranking, and I had never heard of this before. I was naive about this. I mean, all of a sudden, the judge brought me the form. I can't believe they're doing this. He said they do this all the time.
Amazing.
But
if the airlines try to get their people in, and their people are trained, and they get it in getting the victims to sell out their loved ones.
Well, what I mean is, don't you think it's a conflict of interest pertaining to East Palestine that they put Norfolk Southern, who might have caused, they're the ones who are supposedly as to their liability and causing injury to these townspeople. So their fiduciary duty, isn't that to their stockholders? So isn't that a conflict of interest?
Sure.
100%. They should be put on the side. They should be used just for their expertise, and other people should conduct both the investigation and the interaction with the people who they do have claims against.
Well, and Millie, your point, this is something probably for a follow-up, but the company that the railroad used to do some testing and has a really checkered past. I mean, this is not their first rodeo for trying to cover up events like this. And then to go back to that form, when the railroad was confronted, there was a woman that, God bless her, she took a picture on her phone. They wouldn't let her keep the form, but she took a picture of it, and it started going viral. And so the railroad came back out and said, oh, our mistake. That was an old form. Tried to literally play that one on there, like they're a bunch of dumb hicks or whatever, which is what they think of everybody in Ohio.
So think about
what they think of us.
What I'm telling you happened way back in 1996. And I was told it had been going on for decades at the time and they'll go as far as you let them go.
Yeah.
They'll go as far as you can let them go.
You just said
they'll even pay somebody off they'll get somebody in the family to say someone was sick. And that way it'll sell out the claims of all the other people in the family, and they'll slip them cash.
Yeah.
It's really dirty.
I mean, these are big money claims.
The real question though is, why did DeWine let this conflict of interest happen?
Maybe that's why he's not hanging around.
Sounds like a part 2 in the making here.
And maybe that's
right.
And maybe that's why they threw the reporter out.
I work in Ohio.
It could have been changed.
Starting to make sense now,
Could
right?
have been changed.
Starting to come in some clarity.
When Biden goes, he's going to hire Karine Jean-Pierre.
So the fastest hour.
Karine Jean-Pierre is going to go work for DeWine.
So, Mayor, the fastest hour on the internet. We're up. It's the top of the hour. But Matt, before you go,
soccer time.
We are now in what we like to call stoppage time.
Right.
In soccer, they add that extra time at the end, but nobody knows how much time. Only the ref knows. Only Ted knows. So we are now in stoppage time.
I like it.
We're getting a lot of questions, a lot of people interested in you, Matt. They want to know what's next for you. I mean, come on, you're not done running for office.
It's one of those things where I enjoyed the experience of running for office twice, in that I got to meet a lot of great people. But if anybody ever tells you that they love running for political office, kick them as hard as you can and run. All right. So I'm to the point now where I'm just so fed up and I'm sick
You'll
and tired.
you'll get over it.
Sick and tired of it, you know,
You'll get it.
where
I
you
can
look
tell.
at it
You'll
and
get
say, "Hey, got to do something. You
You'll
work
get
so
over
hard to provide for your family
So,
and your
so
children."
now do something, but you'll get over
And now it's kind of that point where I'm just so fed up
it. Okay.
that I think it's probably
Let
time
it
to do
work.
something. What that is yet, we'll
Let it
see.
work itself out for a couple of
But
years.
it'll work itself.
How can people stay in touch with you? Best way to stay up. They want to stay in touch with Matt.
Well, I'm a little bit difficult to find. I would say the easiest one on social media, and probably the only one right now, is on Twitter. And I believe my handle is @Ferris Friends, @Ferris Friends, and it's FERRIS, like the Ferris
Can
wheel.
we get them like
Friends.
Can we get them a little more out there on social media?
I became
So
a
keep this career going?
became a recluse over the last
Oh,
several years
oh.
here, so I'm starting to come back out
We
here. a
gotta
bit here.
get you up to speed, Matt. We
You got a
gotta
lot.
run him again, don't you think?
You've got a lot to offer, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was thank you very much,
Thank
Billy,
you.
for allowing us
Thank you, Mr.
to
Mayor.
be here. Thank you for your wonderful commentary. Thank you, and
Thank you.
I'm wishing you well. You're gonna be elected. I
Thank
know.
you, sir.
I can see it. I can
Appreciate
see it. So, Ted has not called an end to the soccer
I
match.
haven't heard a whistle. They do that?
Ted is
Is there a
still
whistle?
checking the clock. He just threw Matt out. He went like this.
Matt is out of here.
Just threw
Give
Matt
Matt
out. He went
the
like
hee ho.
That means
Thank you,
out.
Matt.
Come on, we're usually very kind and nice.
We are, and we have these camera tricks. So I want this to appear as smooth as
Well,
possible,
that
Mayor.
wasn't too smooth.
So,
It
thank you,
was
Matt.
not exactly
So,
smooth.
so
Ted.
Mayor, send us off tomorrow night. We may be downtown. We will be in East Palestine, location to be determined. What is your message to end
Our
the evening?
message is be sure to tune in tomorrow night. There's a possible, we may have some surprises for you. I might have green eyes, but possible, right? Ted's hair Ted could lose all his hair. These things happen very quickly. You never know. We could have all sorts of developments for you. No, I'm only teasing, and I probably shouldn't tease about something like that because this is very, very serious. I am very, very glad that the president came today. Notice what I said. The president came here today.
Amen.
The president of the United States, the one that puts America first. The other one who puts America nowhere was off in the place where he made the second most amount of money, Ukraine. Wonder if he'll stop off for a little extra cash in China. Did you ever believe this would happen to us? Did you ever believe, ever, I don't know how old you are, how long you've been around, that there would be no doubt the person sitting in the White House was a lifetime crook? We're going to have to remain 1,000% focused on 2024. To remind you of it every night. Also remind you to say a prayer for this country. And also thank God that you're an American. We'll see you tomorrow night from, well, a place that also needs your prayers, East Palestine, Ohio, and environs.